Welcome to the yoga method. Come and join me at the top of your mat, the right end of your mat when you're ready. Sun salutation A with your big toes touching heels, separated slightly, hands at Anjali Mudra, and begin to cultivate your Ujjayi breath. So breathing with sound. Setting an intention only if you wish, but at the same time recognizing that transformation is intentional. Taking one more breath before releasing your hands, opening your eyes. Let's circle and sweep hands high as we greet another day. On the exhalation, easing your way over into your forward fold. Inhale, either hands to shins or fingertips to floor, flat back extension before stepping or hopping. And we transition either on knees or toes through chaturanga, elbows tight, belly strong. We energize back body to open front body. And then either choosing child's pose or downward facing dog. I'd like for you to check that your hands are shoulder distance, your feet are hip distance. You're deliberately spreading your fingers and toes, and you're gazing between your knees or to your feet. Taking one more full, smooth, deep breath in and out. On your in-breath, lift to the tips of your toes, and on your exhalation, drop your heels to your right. Feel a beautiful stretch through the left side body. And then return to the midline when you're ready. Tips of the toes, heels will move to your left, and you'll experience this glorious sensation through the right side of the torso, all the way down to your hip. Returning on the in-breath, and on the out-breath, bend the knees, look at the top of your mat. You'll walk or hop, lift and lengthen when you arrive, and exhale into your forward fold. Rising all the way to your extended mountain pose. Press your palms, look to your thumbs. Release your hands down and around to Samastitihi. Just one more A. Sun salutations, an act of gratitude and devotion. On the in-breath, we lift, we lengthen. And on the exhalation, we step or hop, transitioning through chaturanga, knees or toes. We energize back body to open front body safely. And then propel your hips up and back, downward facing dog. On the in-breath, we'll rise to the tips of the toes. Exhale to drop the heels to your right. Inhaling to return to the tips of the toes. Exhale and pivot your heels to the left. Come again up on the in-breath. As the heels land, maybe you bend your knees this time. So exploring just movement with breath. Last two, inhaling to lift to the tips of your toes, heels to the right, bend the knees, pause. One last time, lift, lengthen, before gently easing your way down. Return to the midline, land the heels or not, and on your next in-breath, we'll fluff to the tips of the toes, gazing at the top of the mat, walking or hopping. We lift and lengthen as we breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Rising all the way up. Press your palms, look to your thumbs. Hands home to Samastitihi. Come to Utkatasana, take a seat into chair. So take a moment to check that your big toes are touching, your heels are touching, and knees squeezing to the midline as the hands reach forward. Maybe your shoulders will allow you to reach a little higher. Steady. Feel your quadriceps working with your hamstrings, your pelvic floor working with your abdominals. One more full breath in. And on the exhalation, ease your way into that fold. Inhale, flat back extension before stepping your right leg way, way back. Right hand on the earth, left hand to your knee, or reaching high if the shoulder allows. How strong, how straight can you be from fingertip to toe? Keep your arms as they are, gazing down. Begin to pivot towards either a half side plank or a full side plank. Feet can be split or stack them, but just find the expansion across the chest and the strength through your core and your glutes for 2 more breaths. One more full breath in before we land and travel through our chaturanga, knees or toes. Collarbones broad, enjoy this back bend before lifting up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg will rise when you're ready, and only as far as it feels good to your body. Please open the pelvis, square the shoulders, gazing at your left big toe. One more full deep breath in before lifting to the tips of the toes, stepping through and come to high lunge, Anjali Asana. Arms reaching overhead, pelvis as level as we can. Tuck the tailbone, scoop the belly. One more breath before drawing the hands down the midline. Shift the weight forward, stack your heart above your knee above your ankle. And then taking a gentle twist. So variation 1, the hands could support you. Variation 2, elbow crossing the midline. Left elbow hooking onto right thigh. Stack your elbows, press your palms, and press down in order to lift upwards. Please either gaze at your right big toe, to the side, or to the ceiling. One more full breath in. And on your exhalation, return to the midline. Frame your foot and slide to your high plank. Traveling through chaturanga. We'll energize and open into that baby back bend shape or full up dog before lifting up and back, downward facing dog. One deep breath in together as we lift to the tips of the toes. Bend your knees, exhale to prepare. Walk or hop, lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, take that seat into chair pose. So organize the big toes together, the knees squeezing in, reaching forward or a little bit higher. Building strength and endurance. One more breath in before the exhalation tips us forward, releasing head and shoulders last. Breathe in, lift, lengthen, looking forward before stepping your left leg way back. Ground with the left, right hand to the right thigh, turn the torso, and then only reaching upwards if it feels good. Please feel the 4 corners of your right foot. Turn to look skywards to the tips of your fingers. Powerful back leg. One more breath before we begin to move to our side plank. Remember, you can take that half stance, a split stance, or a full plank. Finding lightness through the pelvis, depth in your breath for 3. Just one more breath before we spot our landing and travel through chaturanga. Shift forward, control the descent. Heels squeezing towards the midline, collarbones broadening before up and back down dog. Left leg is rising. Open the pelvis as much as you like, but keep your shoulders square. Press into your left hand more than you think you need to. One more breath before we transition to the tips of the toes. Step through Anjali Asana, back leg bent and hands reaching overhead when you are ready. Tuck your tail, level your pelvis, find your breath. Our hands come to heart center. We shift forward, stack the heart over the knee above the ankle, and only taking the twist if your lower back will allow. Variation 1, hands on the thigh. Variation 2, hooking the elbow, pressing the palms, stack them, and then finding the eye gaze position that serves you best. One more full deep breath in. And on the exhalation, we'll release. We'll slide to high plank. Knees or toes, chaturanga. Active back body opens front body safely before lifting up and back to our downward facing dog. Just one breath in. Clearing breath out. To the tips of the toes on the in-breath. Bend your knees, look at the end of the mat. Walk or hop, lift, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, take your seat, reach your hands forward. Maybe a little higher. 2 breaths. One more breath, please. Exhale, lift the hips, release the head last. Full breath in, lift, lengthen, look forward. Right leg stepping way back. Right hand down, left hand high, stay and breathe. Charge your back leg. Be intentional with your core. And moving to your version of side plank. So halfway, split stance, stack them. And then turn to look skywards if your neck will allow. One more breath before spotting your landing. Listen as we land. Pick up just through your right foot a little bit and see if you can travel through your chaturanga that way. Land your foot, open and energize before lifting your hips up and back down dog. Right leg is rising. Please bend your knees, second round. Pause here. Right hand pressing more strongly than the left. Gazing at your left big toe. To the tips of the toes, lengthen the legs, step between. Anjali Asana, high lunge. Stack ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip. Palms to heart center, shift and twist. Variation 1, hands on the thigh. Variation 2, elbow coming through. And variation 3, please wiggle your left hand towards the earth, right hand towards the ceiling. Eyes wherever they feel best for you. For 2. One more breath in. And on your exhalation, gazing down, palms back to prayer. Restack the shoulders and opening to Virabhadrasana 2. Knee and hip in one line, knee is above the ankle on the front leg. Spread through your arms, sink into your legs. Be powerful and intentional. Just one more breath before we reach high. Turn the toes out and sink into our horse stance. Hands landing. Please take your forearm to your thigh and your left hand high. Variation 2 will hold onto the ankle. Please keep the weight equal between your feet. Core on strong. Last 2 breaths. One more, please. Both hands now reach for the ankles. Press your knees wide. Keep the heart buoyant. Keep the breath deep for 2 more breaths. One more breath in. And on your exhalation, ground your hands, turn your toes in, and ease your way into your wide leg forward fold. Walk the heels of the hands so they line up with the heels of the feet. And gently press into your hands to draw you a little bit deeper into your fold. Energetically, find your pinky toes. Engage your quadriceps. Stay and breathe. For 2. One more breath. Walk your hands so they're beneath your shoulders as you press the floor away, lifting your heads and hearts. Turn your left toe out and begin to move to your version of Skandasana. So option 1, hands resting on the thigh. Variation 2, right hand on the earth. Variation 3, maybe both hands land. If it feels available, we sink deeper. We roll the right toes towards the ceiling. And final variation, left hand on the earth, right hand high. Engage your right quadricep as you draw the toes back. Keep encouraging your left knee wide. Last 2. One last breath that reaches the tips of your fingers before grounding your hands. Lift through the pelvis and pivot to the back of your mat. From here, send your fingertips forward, shift your weight, and begin to lift to a supported warrior 3. Your pelvis is level, your heart is lifted, your belly is so strong, navel to spine for 2 more breaths. One more breath, please. We're transitioning to standing. So please feel free to ground your foot as many times as you need. Once you've arrived there, variation 1, we're crossing the right toes over the right ankle. Did I say right over right? Right toes over your left ankle. Variation 2, you'll slide the right foot above your left knee. And variation 3, we'll reach our hands forward and we'll begin to sink back into a standing figure 4 balance. So steady your eyes, find the connection to the breath, to the core. And if it feels like you could reach for the earth, you'll explore grounding into your fingertips and tucking your right toes into your left tricep. Stay here for a moment. Blocks are beautiful to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And final option, maybe we begin to lengthen through our standing leg, our left leg. Your left hand could find your left ankle as you draw yourself a little bit deeper into this beautiful hip opener. Last 2. One more breath in. However you got into it, you'll get at it the same. So you'll ground your hand if you took your ankle. You'll bend your standing knee deeply. And then you'll begin to lift the fingertips, reach them forward, and then rising up to standing. Reach the arms overhead, lift the knee, and releasing everything down. We're coming to Utkatasana. Touch the floor, reach the hands forward, but then I'd like for you to balance on the tips of your toes. So the heels are lifted, the big toes are together, the knees are squeezing towards the midline. And I'd like for you to lower as far as you can. And then I'd love for you to try and transition to a seated position. You might need to use your hands, or you could separate your knees slightly and keep working your way down to find yourself in Navasana. It doesn't have to be pretty. We embrace the messiness of our practice. Our shins are parallel. More important, we find joy in the process. Shoulders relax, belly is strong, breath is deep. On your in-breath, sweep your arms wide. And on the exhalation, reach for your shins, for your ankles. 2 more. Full breath in, reach wide. On the exhalation, draw back in. One more time, pause, hold and open before finding your shins again. Transition to high plank, so you might swing your legs around or cross them, but we come over top, stepping or hopping, transitioning through our chaturanga. We'll expand and open for just one breath before we lift ourselves up and back to our downward facing dog. On the in-breath, to the tips of your toes. On the out-breath, bend your knees to prepare. Walking or hopping, we lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Deja vu, Utkatasana, take your seat, reach your hands, maybe they come a little bit higher, but just staying grounded into the heels through the 4 corners of your feet. Last 2. One more please, maybe a little bit lower before we lift the hips and release the head. Full breath in to lift to lengthen, and it is your left leg that's stepping way back. Ground into your left hand, reach your right hand high. Stay and breathe. For 2. Transitioning after this final breath to your version of side plank. So coming halfway, split stance or stacking the feet. Please turn your eye gaze skywards if your neck and balance will allow. One more breath before we ease our way over. Listen, you're picking up through your left leg, and just see if you can lower through chaturanga with that left leg slightly elevated. Ground, open, expand. Before our hips lift up and back, down dog. Left leg is rising, pelvis is open. We bend the knee, pressing it towards your right side and stamping down with your left hand. One more breath before you lengthen and lift, stepping between your hands and coming to your Anjani Asana. Steady yourself before you reach your hands high. A tuck of the tail, a drawing in of the navel, full breath in. Draw the hands to the heart center, stack the heart above the knee above the ankle. Option 1, hands resting. Variation 2, elbow hooking in. In variation 3, we were working our right hand to the earth, left hand to ceiling. Gazing down or gazing upwards. Stay and breathe. One more breath before we return our eyes. Return our hands to prayer, stack the shoulders, and open to your Virabhadrasana 2. Hip and knee aligned, knee above the ankle, expansion across the heart, depth in the legs. When you are ready, a 5-pointed star, reaching high and then sinking low. Encourage the knees to the pinky toe, tuck your tailbone, and then it is your left forearm resting on your thigh, right hand high. Variation 2, hold your ankle, but please stay centered. Final breath before we either land both elbows or take both ankles. Pressing the knees wide, lifting through the heart space. Find your strength, find your grittiness, your determination for 2 more breaths. One more breath in before we ground the hands, lift the hips, turn the toes, and ease our way into our wide leg forward fold. So once again, hands are shoulder distance. We're spreading the fingers and we're moving the head towards the earth. If you feel you're grounded really firmly and a tripod headstand is part of your practice, we begin to see if we could lift the legs a little bit. If it feels safe, let them to continue their journey overhead. Pressing down really firmly into your hands, and then slowly retrace your steps, and your feet will safely find the earth. Pause for one more breath, and then we'll all lift our heads, lift our hearts before moving into Skandasana. So turn your right toes out, shift the weight to your right, both hands on your thigh, one hand on the floor, both hands perhaps, or spinning your left toes to the ceiling with that final option of right hand down, left hand high. Two breaths remaining. Quadriceps lifting the kneecap, toes drawing back to the shin before grounding and pivoting to the top of your mat. Hands reach forward as we begin to lift into our supported warrior three. You do not ever need to lift high. The feet don't even need to leave the floor. And a block, always such a wonderful extension of our arms. 2 breaths. Before we begin that transition to standing, touching the floor as many times as you need to. And then variation 1, you're crossing your left foot over your right ankle. Variation 2, you'll lift the foot above the knee. And then variation 3, reach the hands forward, begin to take a seat. So bending into your right leg, your standing leg, feeling the opening coming into the back of your left hip. And those final little options of grounding fingertips to your mat or to your block, deepening the sensation through the back of your left hip. Shoulders away from your ears, keep your core on strong. And then we began to explore lengthening through the standing leg, the right leg. Perhaps right hand is cupping the right calf as we gently draw ourselves a little bit deeper into this beautiful standing balance. Embracing the wobbles. One more breath. However you got in is how you'll get out. So you'll release your hand, bend your standing knee, begin to lighten the fingertips, send them forward first, and then slowly standing tall, lift the knee and release all the way down. Come to your Utkatasana, your chair pose. So hands reaching forward. And this is where we lift the heels and shift to the balls of our feet. Scoop your belly, find your steadiness with your eyes. And however you land, however you get to a seated position, please feel free to use your hands. But we're transitioning to our boat pose, please. So feet to the earth or shins parallel, opening through the arms as you breathe in. Exhaling to sweep. Variation 3, lifting the legs as you breathe in. Exhale, come hands to shins. Last 2. One more, please. Full breath in. Before you cross your ankles, we take our last vinyasa. So swing your legs around or cross and hop, traveling through your chaturanga. A last baby back bend or up dog before lifting up and back to our downward facing dog. Take a moment to just pedal through your heels to really feel how the body's feeling. One more breath with movement before finding your stillness, gazing between your feet. And I'd like you to crisscross your ankles. So you're going to come across with your left and then step back. You'll come across with your right and then step back. Just do 2 more of those. Step back. So the right foot lands behind the left wrist. Step back. Variation 2. You'll crisscross one and then the other. You'll step back and pause. So right first and then the left. Step back and pause. Last 2. So left first, then right. Step back. And one more time. Crisscross the ankles. Step back and pause. This last time, we'll crisscross the ankles. Stay here. See if you can wiggle your feet through or your knees through. And ease your way down and unthread your legs. Slide your way back, giving the legs a little shake if they need before we reach high and move into our Paschimottanasana. Holding the pinky toe side of the feet. Bend your knees as much as you need. Remembering the sensation should be felt in the belly of the muscle. Wherever you are, steady your eyes. Maintain the length of the spine. Last 2. One more breath in and out. On your inhalation, please lift your heads, your hearts. On your exhalation, sitting back and cross your left foot above your right knee. So encourage this knee out to the side. Lift through your heart space for variation 1. Option 2, easing your way in. And variation 3, perhaps reaching for your ankle, your shin, or wrapping around the foot for a bind. So it would be left hand reaching across, holding onto the right wrist. Long spines, deep breath. For 2. One more full breath in and out. On the in-breath, just lift your head, lift your heart. And on the exhalation, ease your way out, hands behind you, bending this knee and taking a moment in a seated figure 4. Draw the toes back, encourage your left knee wide, lift through your heart space. And if you feel like you need a little bit more depth in your stretch, you'll shift forward with the pelvis so that the hips and the heels meet. Reestablish the lift of the heart, the lift of the chin. Breathe in. And then please leave the spine long, but bow the chin towards the chest for 3 more breaths. One more full, smooth breath before we lift the chin. We gently shift the hips back. Send your right leg long, but now ground through your left foot and begin to wrap to the bent leg side. So variation 1, we'll leave that right leg lengthened. Option 2, ground into the right hand. Bring your right leg around and then see if you can reestablish the foundation of your pelvis before wrapping your right hand to your left knee. using your left hand to lift you and the abdominals to revolve you. One more full breath in and out. We'll return our eye gaze as we breathe in. We'll release the twist as we breathe out. Just let your hands come behind you so you can uncross your legs. And please take your vinyasa, so cross over, shift back, travel through your chaturanga. You'll open and you'll expand into your version of a back bend before lifting up and back, downward facing dog. So that little crisscross of the ankles that we were working on before, here comes the rain. You have the option of doing one ankle at a time. So right foot lands behind the left wrist. Variation 2, you'll crisscross and pause, and then step back. And then you'll try the other side. You'll crisscross and pause, stepping back. Your final variation is just to play with a little hop and then pause. So just experimenting with what feels safe to your body. And we'll take one more before we land. Wiggle, 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 and take the feet out in front. Once you've arrived safely, it will be your right foot crossing above your left knee. Take a moment to really establish your posture, either holding the foot and the knee or easing your way into the depth of the posture that feels glorious to your body. If you're taking a bind, right hand across the sole of the foot, thumb and index finger holding on to your left wrist. Your drishti is your big toe. Last two. One last breath. On our in-breath, we lift, we lengthen. On the exhalation, we sit back, hands behind us, and begin to bend into your left knee. Option 1, stay exactly as you are with the length of the spine. Variation 2, shift your hip towards your heel. Walk your hands in. Reestablish the length of the spine. Lift your chin. And then maintain that length, but bow the chin towards the chest. One last breath. Before we lift the chin, we'll shift the weight back. We'll lengthen through the left leg and we'll ground into our right foot. Variation 2, left hand, slide the left leg under, and then either a straight leg or taking this version of Ardha Matsyendrasana. Please hug your right knee in using your left arm. Press down with your right hand to support your spine, but then using the abdominals with the breath. One more full breath in and out. On your inhalation, you'll return your eyes. On the exhalation, we'll release the twist. Take the legs out in front. Give them a little shake, and I'm going to turn to you. So coming into Sukhasana or taking a half lotus or a full lotus, whatever is part of your practice. So pausing here just for a moment in Sukhasana, half lotus or full lotus. Once you've arrived there safely, It is your left hand resting on the back of your left knee, your thumb and your index finger lightly touching. Lift through your chest. Establish the connection to your core. And either taking the two fingers to the flesh of your thumb, or if it feels more comfortable for you, just pressing them between your eyebrows. If you went straight back from that point, you would find your pineal gland sitting in a structure called your Turkish saddle. So maybe as we pause here with our Nadi Shodhana, maybe you're envisioning that gland. So let's take a breath in together with our hearts buoyant and our eyes closed. And at the end of your exhalation, you'll seal your right nostril. And on your in-breath, you'll breathe in through your left. You'll seal the left, you'll open the right, and you'll breathe out through your right. Breathe in through your right. Seal the right, open the left, breathe out through your left. Breathe in through your left. Seal the left, open the right, breathe out through your right. In through the right. Seal the right, open the left, breathe out through the left. Taking two more. In through the left. Seal the left, open the right, breathe out through the right. In through the right. Seal the right, open the left, and breathe out last time through your left. Keeping your eyes closed, let your right hand also find Chin Mudra. So the backs of the hands are resting on the backs of the knees, the thumb and the index fingers lightly touching, the other three fingers energetically reaching away from the body. The thumb and the finger symbolizing the mind, the ego, bowing to the higher wisdom of our hearts, our intuition. And then keeping the spine long, take a breath in. And on your exhalation, bow the chin towards your chest. This is called Mahabandha, when we deliberately lift through the pelvic floor. We scoop and lift through the lower belly, Uddiyana Bandha. And we draw the chin towards the chest, towards the notch in the collarbone, Jalanara Bandha. So Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalanara Bandha, forming Mahabandha. Allow the breath to continue to flow. Taking two more. And when you're ready, you'll gently release the mudra. You'll open your eyes. And whatever shape you're in, we'll pick up through our knees. So your feet might be on the floor. We'll ground the hands. And we'll see if we can lift the pelvis a little tiny bit. So it doesn't matter what shape you're in. We're pressing down in order to lift up, scooping the belly, maintaining that pelvic floor and Uddiyana Bandha connection for 5 more breaths. Shaky bodies are good things. That's when transformation happens. Last 2. 1 more, please, before we gently release out. However you get out of this to a high plank will be beautiful. If you're in a lotus and your knees will allow, you have the option of lifting up and over. And then you attempt to get your torso with your elbows. So we shift forward like a chaturanga arm. And the elbows catch the waist or the ribs. And then we attempt to lift our legs in this shape. So a little shift. And then we open into our up dog before we all land in child's pose, please. Knees wide, big toes together, surrendering all of your efforts, all of your expectations. And in this moment, nothing but love and appreciation for our bodies, for our breath. Taking one more full breath before you make your way to your very last downward facing dog. Remember all of those options we've been practicing for getting through to our seated position. One last time, whatever option you're choosing, it's perfect. We thread the legs through, and finally, we'll lay ourselves down. Please hug yourselves tightly. Just rock gently for a moment. And we are coming into our bridging, our back bend. So please touch your heels with your peace fingers. Check that your feet are hip distance apart and your knees are stacking with your hips. And then energize pelvic floor. Tuck your tailbone, lifting through your hips. Just nestle your shoulders in. And if it's possible, walk your hands in underneath you. Press your pinky finger to the earth. Reach your knuckles towards your heels. And then all I'd love for you to do is get onto the tips of your toes. Lift a little bit more. Stay here with your collarbones broad and your breath deep. One more breath. Before we land through the heels, we shift the weight into our right leg and we pick up through our left knee, or we lengthen through our left leg. Just 3 breaths. Before we bring the knee to the chest, land the left foot, shift the weight, pick up through your right knee, or lengthen through your right leg. 3 breaths. One more breath before we bend the knee, release the foot, release your hands, and ripple your way down, 1 vertebra at a time. We gather the knees. We hug ourselves deliberately, lovingly, unconditionally. Then we'll separate our knees and stand on the ceiling, coming to our happy baby pose. So this is our time for inversions. We either stay in happy baby pose, stationary for 5, moving for 5, and exploring the inner seam for 5. If you are coming into shoulder stand, just organize your body. And that first stepping stone into shoulder stand is the tricky one. So we ground the fingertips, we bring the knees to the chest, and just the lifting of the pelvis off the floor is such a challenging position. So just practicing even that movement to build the endurance, more importantly, the strength through the abdominals to help you up. So when you're ready, you'll lift yourselves and you're going to walk your hands in. Now listen, option 1, you could keep the knees bent. A short lever feels safer. And then over time, if your body says, yes, please, I'd like to explore, you'll begin to lengthen. My legs are getting closer. My pants are getting closer to my nose. So in this position, you're reaching your toes to the ceiling. Now, the more energized you make your legs, the less you'll feel this through your neck. And where I want you to feel this is through your elbows and your shoulders, not your neck. So the neck is free. I can continue to talk normally. And I'm very energetic through my legs, through my glutes, through my core, so that the legs feel light. When you're ready to transition to plow, I'd love for you to try opening the feet and exploring a wide leg version of this. So your feet might stay there. So you're going to keep your hands on your back. If your feet find the floor, then perhaps you'll ground your hands, or you might explore coming into dorsiflexion and taking your peace fingers to your big toes. It doesn't matter. So when the hands move to the feet, you'll feel a little bit more through your thoracic spine, your upper back. But if you feel any discomfort in your neck, I want you to come out of it immediately. So charge your legs, keep your core strong, find your breath for 2 more. One more, please, before we bring the feet together, and we'll either catch our hips, find the floor, or interlace our fingers, and then bend your knees either to your forehead, or you'll separate your knees and cup your ears. Your big toes are touching. Your toes are pointed, so you're in plantar flexion. My happy baby crew, we're coming to the end. So we're all going to meet in fish pose. If you are coming out of your shoulder stand sequence, bent knees, I want you to hold your back. If you're coming down with straight legs, hands on the floor, skim your legs as close to your face as you can. Control the descent of your pelvis, your hips, by using your abdominals. And the moment you feel any strain at all, you'll just bend your knees. We meet in fish pose, and I'm going to need to wiggle back a little bit. So today, let's do an untraditional version, but a kinder version. You'll bring your thumbs to touch, and you'll spread your fingers wide as you slide them underneath your pelvis. I want you to deliberately tuck your elbows in, press down into your hands, grip with your fingers. Send your legs long, point your toes, and super glue your big toes together. Variation 1, all we do is energize the body, so every muscle is working. Option 2, you'll just tuck your chin, and that it requires your core to engage more. Variation 3, keep looking at your toes, but lift through your heart as you look at your toes. And only releasing your head back if that feels safe to your spine. If you feel like there's still room to work with, you can pick up your feet, and we stay here for 5. We'll release the feet, release the head, and then please move your hands out of the way. Claim a little bit of space with your arms, with your legs, and breathe into this beautiful quality of energy that our yoga practice brings. There's nothing automatic about transformation. It is intentional. It takes time, effort, energy, consistency, patience, playfulness, definitely determination, discipline, but the foundation for it all is love and joy. Love and joy. When you're ready, let's move into our final postures. Rotation first, so either spreading your arms wide or taking a cactus shape. It is your left leg crossing over. You'll shift your pelvis and you'll begin to rotate towards your right. Sometimes this does not feel good. So if you've got any pinching in your hip or it feels too strong in your lower back, just uncross your legs. If you feel like you need more, you could play with lengthening through your top leg. Maybe you catch it with your right hand, and then your left hand could search for your other foot. You nestle your shoulders back down. You steady your eye gaze either on the ceiling or looking to your left. Close your eyes. Just make sure it feels good to your body. That's it. That's all. One more breath before we open our eyes. Return our eye gaze, and whatever version you took, you'll release it. Please engage your core. Use your arms. Come home. Shifting your pelvis just a little bit to your right. It's kinder on your sacroiliac joints. You'll cross your right over. And remember, if there's any pinching or catching in the hip joint, just uncross them. Okay? If you did on the first side, you could lengthen through that top leg. It is your left hand holding your right foot. And then it would be your right hand searching for your left ankle. Turn your heart towards the ceiling. Turn your eye gaze to your right. Last 2 breaths. And when you're ready, eyes will return. We'll release the option we took. We'll stack the legs. We'll use the core. We'll come home. And then one last hug of the knees to deload the spine, to open up the lumbar spine before we make our way into stillness. If your lower back is feeling a little bit niggly, the knees are together, the feet are wide, that'll just help to support the pelvis and keep your lower back in a more neutral position. If your legs will allow, if your back will allow, let your legs go long. Take a moment to really organize your body meticulously for comfort. Close the eyes. And please scan your body from the crown of the head to the soles of your feet. Allow your whole body to relax. And with love, gratitude, and appreciation for this body, celebrate your efforts. The options we choose are completely irrelevant. I recently heard a quote, and the quote was, "What if my life was a series of miserable successes? What if my life was a series of miserable successes?" And our yoga practice could be the same. We might be able to stand on our head, do handstands, do arm balances, do the splits. But if our yoga practice is a series of miserable successes, we have completely missed the point. Each and every time we step on our mats, a moment to honor, appreciate the miracle and the magic of our bodies. And a celebration of this life, this precious life. So allow your magnificent bodies to rest. Staying for one more breath as you are. And with your eyes remaining closed and your awareness staying with your breath, you'll begin to deepen your breath, expanding your awareness. And when your awareness reaches the outer edge of your body, please begin to gently, mindfully invite movement into your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet. A little movement through your pelvis, your shoulders, your necks. And only if it feels good, take your arms overhead, a full, big body yawn from fingertip to toe. Before we slide the arms down and around, we bend our knees one at a time. We hug ourselves lovingly. We rock our bodies gently. Before we roll lightly onto the right hand side, whichever way is convenient. Linger for one breath before navigating your way to a seated position, please. Any position that feels good. And with our hands resting at our heart center in Jali Mudra, we take one last unified breath together before closing our practice with a bow. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you, beautiful crew, and I hope to see you soon.